Okay, we are 1 minute after the time, so I think that we can start with our today's topic. So I would like to say hello to everyone who joins today for our session. It's fourth session in our JSM summer expedition. So I'm very happy that today we have got two guests from Atlassian, Samruddhi and Makarand. They are product managers, and today they will talk about automating ITSM with advanced controls and playbooks, something which is new. So I think that it's a really hot topic now, and probably you will have a lot of questions. So feel free to put your questions in the chat. Also, we have got a Q&A section. And after each part, we will have got time for your questions. Also, in the end, of course, we have got a Q&A part. So I think that we can start. So Makarand, can you start sharing your screen?
Yes, thanks a lot, Kate, for the lovely intro, and hello everyone. Thank you for joining the session, and it's great to be here and talking about JSM and automation. So let me bring up our slide deck for the day. Just a second. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I hope the slides are visible to everyone.
Yes, we see your slide deck. It's good.
Thanks a lot, Kate, for the confirmation. Cool. So I think we have been having quite a lot of sessions. Thanks to Kate for helping us out here with several parts in the history with operations. In this part four, what we are going to do is we are going to talk about more about automation. I think in the past we have learned about how we can do prevent, detect, and resolve through JSM, alert configurations, ops configurations, and teams. In this session, we'll specifically look at how we can essentially use automation to power some of these processes in depth through some of our newest launches on advanced workflow controls. We'll also look at automation across different systems which go outside JSM. And then we'll also touch base on playbooks, which are also one of a new feature that we have recently launched, and take you across the benefits, the ways to use it, the help in configurations. And towards the end, we'll definitely have a small time for Q&A where we'll take some questions and try to understand if there are any concerns or any suggestions as well in the product that you would like to see in the future. So starting with the advanced workflow automation, right? So I think all of us might be aware that in JSM we offer automation capabilities which essentially have trigger, condition, actions. So trigger essentially looks at events. Whenever there's an event, you would want to start an automated sequence of actions. Now, this is powered through our inbuilt Atlassian automation engine, which not only powers JSM but Jira Software, Confluence, and other products. So, giving you a one place, one stop solution for all your automation needs, right? So, the newest enhancements that we have done as part of this automation experience is having advanced workflow automation. So now imagine you are a major incident manager, right? So as a major incident manager, you always struggle to quickly do remediation actions, and then of course you have your big on-call team who's following the roster and trying to mitigate small issues that come on their way. In the same time, they're trying to keep the stakeholders informed, follow the standard operating procedures, and do a lot of manual updates here and there. But after doing all of this, there's still a lot of discrepancy, right? So what you want to ensure as a major incident manager is that the outlined processes for the business are followed. You want to ensure that the right stakeholders are informed and in the loop in all due course of the time where that particular issue is being addressed. And then you want to also ensure that all that actions are happening with efficiency and with minimal delay. At the end, what as a business you care is minimal downtime, minimal impact to your business once your services are impacted, right? So let's look at automation, right? So this is a examples workflow which I'll also demo in due course of time. So in this workflow, what you're doing is you have a trigger. In this case, you are using alert created. Now we have added the capability with our triggers uh, to have conditions. So whenever this automation gets triggered, it first evaluates if the event that is firing this automation is actually relevant, is actually applicable in this context or not, right? So let's say this alert is created, and then the source from which this alert is coming, is it equals to Azure, right? So only then those alerts would run. And then what we have added as a new category here is an advanced component or advanced control. So first of its kind is split parallel. So using that, you can actually now split your automation workflow into two branches, in fact multiple branches, and then add actions as before to these branches. Now all of these branches would run in parallel, and then they can come together, and then the main path would continue, right? So this is an enhancement where a large business process can actually happen within the same workflow, instead of you having to create multiple automation rules that run behind the scene on the same trigger. You can actually do that in the same automation rule itself, right? Now, I would also like to touch base on one key enhancement. Not only is the advanced control, but we have also improved and added a lot of actions on multiple systems outside GSM, right? So imagine you are doing an operations process, right? Of course, just the matter of fact that you are getting an alert is not sufficient. As an incident manager, what you also want your team is to look at a lot of data points which are outside the context of the alert, right? You would want to, let's say, go to Datadog, find out what's happening with your metrics historically, and then also you would want to do take some actions. Let's say in this case, I'll also show one of the demo. Let's say your services are hosted on some cloud provider called AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure, and all other systems. You'd also want to run certain scripts out there, right? And you would also want to keep certain systems in sync. Let's say you are trying to mitigate an alert. Once you do that, how can you get that information from a system which is outside JSM? And then also, once you do some RCA, root cause analysis, or even understanding what's wrong, try to take push that data outside onto those systems, keep those systems updated, and things of that kind. So even, let's say, your CI/CD pipelines, your change management request is in flux and is now in the process of getting analyzed. Once analyzed, you would want to also update certain CI/CD pipelines that this change management ticket is now updated, and hence you can go ahead with these changes, right? So essentially, getting more data, taking more actions, and perform, keeping systems in sync. So in this case, again, coming back to our automation, you can actually select one of our actions category. This is just one example where where I'm showing you Google Cloud actions, but not just Google Cloud. We also support a whole loads of actions across Okta, Azure, DocuSign, and Entra, and others. So this, what I'm trying to tell you, is not just in incident management. We have other use cases supported as well. You can also do HRSM, right? Let's say there's an employee being onboarded. How can I automate certain processes for that user on Okta, right? Or there's a service request to get that user certain permissions. How can I enable those on Entra, and things of that kind, right? So that also is supported. You can also do Ansible, New Relic, AWS, even Salesforce in certain cases. Let's say you have a sales use case. So a lot of these systems will help you, address a lot of work items and issues whenever they are created inside JSM. So this helps your businesses stay in light and updated with all the systems outside JSM as well, right? So moving on, I think what I'll try to now focus more on is the demo which I've created for you. Yeah, so let me play the demo for you. All right, so let's Kate, can you confirm if the audio was audible?
Uh,
Let's now
so
look
can you play it?
on setting up automation for your operations processes, right? So within JSM, can you hear the audio?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's now look at a demo on setting up automation for your operations processes, right? So Within JSM, as you all might be aware, that we now support operations within this navigation. Once you navigate, you can see all your teams which are being set up. Now imagine you are a ops manager for a payments team. Now payments team is typically responsible for all the payment related services. So you would be getting alerts from your monitoring tools such as Datadog, wherein if the metrics go wrong, an alert will be generated that payment service is down or something like that, right? So imagine such a scenario, you need an automation that can do quick remediations so that by the time your on-call responder is even responding, you would have done basic remediations already. In certain cases, even resolve that alert by itself, right? So let's come to payments team. So if you look at payments team, you can see that there's navigation to automation within here. You can also navigate to automation from your global settings, which is towards the top right corner, where you can click on system settings, and then inside the system settings you can see global automations, right? So once you are in the automation navigation, you can click create rule. Now automation, as it works, it has a component called trigger, which essentially determines when should this rule be run, right? So in case of our example or use case, right, so we want to run this automation whenever an alert is created. Now whenever an alert gets created for the payments team, you want to trigger this rule, right? So let us now add conditions, because we don't want this alert to run for all the alerts, right? For this automation to run for all the alerts. So now in this case, let's determine that this automation should fire when, let's say, for our demo purposes, this message contains, Azure. Let's say our payment service is hosted on Azure, and because of that, whenever we get an alert that payment service is down and the Azure is impacted or something to that effect, you want this automation to run. Of course, you can add multiple conditions here, and you can make it more specific as per your use cases, so that this automation only fires when it needs to be, right? So just for the example, we'll just keep it one condition. And then when you click on add component, you get a set of more components that you can add. You can also add few actions or even add further conditions. You can even branch on the rule, branch inside the rule, which is basically for each. But what we've recently done is we have also launched a new category called an advanced component. Now, what this essentially enables us is to create a end-to-end workflow. So starting off, what we have launched is branch at the same time. So this component, when used, it can actually split the workflow into two or many branches, as per if you can even add more branches, and then it performs all the actions within each of this branch and then converges back into the main path or main workflow. So in this case, let us assume that we need two branches only, and then let's say the first one is because our payment service is on Azure, I want to run a runbook on Azure so that I can, do some basic remediations. This is asking me to connect, so this will do an OAuth process and authenticate even using my credentials with the Microsoft, systems. So now that this is connected, I can now select the required subscription. For the purpose of this demo, what I've done is I have pre-created some of the PowerShell scripts on Azure itself, which just takes in some inputs and then processes them. You in your case, you can create a script that can perform certain actions on your required service, such as payments, and do something on it. And we can also I've created like two such common PowerShell scripts which we'll use as part of our demo. So let me just quickly select those for executing this. So yeah, PowerShell script, and then our PowerShell script one takes in parameters called name and product. So I specify those here, that my name in this case is JSM, or let me say payments team. You can even use you know parameters as per your requirements of the service. I'm just showing this as part of the demo. And then in the second branch, you can run another script on this Azure, or maybe there are downstream services or upstream services which are also impacted, and you want to ensure multiple of these are, having all the remediations in place. So I select the second one here. In this case, this is expecting a service and system. So let me just provide service is payments, uh, and then system is Azure for the sake of our demo, and that's what we want to do. I'll so yeah, all of our third party components also support, wait for response. Once you check it, what this essentially does is it it the rule will now pause here and then wait for Azure to give us back the response from the execution of the script, right? So instead of waiting for 15 minutes, I can reduce the time as well. I can say I only want to wait for 5 minutes. I also want to resume the rule even on failure. Even if I, let's say, this does not work well, the script errors out. So even in that case, I want to continue my execution. I also want to continue my execution even if there's no response from the Azure side, just so that I can check on my workflow itself. I'll show you how to check this. I'll do the same thing in this case for a previous one. And then once I click next, uh, I'll save, as this component calls out, the payload from the Azure is available in Azure response.output. I'll try to use this in my further processing. So for that to happen, as an output of this group, I'll say, group one Azure is, or maybe even I'll add more detail color to it, saying Azure response. And then I can also do an output in the group two, which is group two Azure response. And then, excuse me. And then once I, sorry, and this is an output here. This is an output name here. So we only need to specify the name of the variables here and the exact smart value here. So what is happening here is this, now this variable name is getting this value from the Azure output, right? So now this becomes available in your workflow state when you set the output of this group. Right? So let me just click next. Now I'll also quickly check this is the output from this group. Cool. So then I'm adding a new component here, which now basically, checks the smart values. So let us check the first smart value. Now in this case, since this is part of group 3, what I want to do is I want to get this input. So input from group 1 is essentially nothing but the group 1 response, right? So let me just quickly provide it here. So the value is stored here, and similarly I can say that the group 2 response is in input from group 2, right? So I've defined here two variables which are capturing the group 2 Azure response and group 1 Azure response. So now in the group 3, when I use this condition, I can specify here that input from group sorry group 1 uh, contains, since this Azure had the name and products, so JSM and payments, I can just quickly check. I mean, this could be literally anything based on the script that you have run. But in this case, for the ease of the demo, I have just kept it simple. So I'll say input from group 1, which was my input variable specified here, which is essentially nothing but the output generated from the Azure one, Azure output, which is being specified as part of the output from the group here, right? So group 1 Azure response, uh, if it contains JSM, what basically that means my script has successfully run. I want to add and say change alert status to closed. So what this is doing is, let's say I have got the expected output from the Azure. I have that means the successful remediation has happened, and hence now I'm okay to change the status of the alert to close, right? So let me save this rule by saying Azure payments alert remediation, and I'll turn on this rule. Right, the rule has been turned on. Now that the rule is saved, I'll go to my operations home, which is here. Let me open up my alerts, view all, and then create a new alert for my payments team, right? So let's say this is it. Now, since our condition said Azure payments down, I can just copy paste for now. Here I'll select the responder as payments team because this alert was supposed to be for payments, and then I'll just create it. All right, so the alert is created. Now what I'll do is our automation should have been fired. Now let us quickly look at our automation rule as well. So going here, let me search for Azure payments alert remediation. So this was the workflow that we had created inside the audit log. Yeah, this is waiting. And it has started execution. Let us quickly wait for it to complete. All right, so let's check our automation status. Oh, it's completed, it's successful. Yeah, I'm just refreshing for the latest. Cool. So both the branches, both the runbooks have in Azure as run. Even the alert status has changed to closed. Let us go back to our alerts. Let us refresh this page, and yep, this alert is now closed. So in this way, you can create a simple remediation workflow with an automation, and you can help your on-call responders with quick actions for your op scenarios and remediate them fast, reducing your MTTR. Thank you. All right, so I hope that demo was useful. We'll definitely take some questions towards the end, but sorry, in the interest of time, we'll move to the next topic in our agenda, which is essentially playbooks. Samruddhi, do you want to talk through it?
Yes. Thanks, Makarand. All right. So to start with playbooks, let's be honest. How many of us here have been in a middle of incident or resolving a request and thought, okay, what are the next steps to do? Like who's supposed to do those steps? Who's are we have we even emailed Bob yet? And I'm sure every one of us have been there at some point in time, and that's exactly where playbooks in JSM come in. Can you go to the next slide, Makaran? So, what are playbooks really? Think of them as your step by step guides, your cheat sheets, your SOPs, or your GPS navigation, so to say, while you work in the system. Now, these come in picture instead of us having to rely on sticky notes or your documentation or your tribal knowledge. Now, playbooks, they are available right inside your JSM work item context, that is in the issue view. So it helps avoid agents having to hop on to various tools and continuously keep context switching to find what to do next. They are built, they're powered by automation. They are not, these playbooks in JSM are not just your static checklists or runbooks. They are powered by automation, and steps can be automated using the automation actions that we saw, the advanced workflows, and also third party integrations. And these will help agents resolve the issues faster without having to hop onto various tools and think about whether they have access to the tools or not. Playbooks are created by admins, they are configured by admins, project admins, and they're used by the agents and responders. And by agents, I mean human agents and responders to resolve the tickets. These are available on premium and enterprise JSM editions. Now, why should you use playbooks, right? That's a good question to ask. Playbooks bring auditability to the system. They have execution logs and they help you understand what was done and who did that step in a ticket whenever you open a ticket or a work item, so to say. Playbooks help you empower your agents by bringing in clarity so that everyone in the team knows what to do, when to do it, and in what order to do. It helps bring consistency in the response so that it helps bring consistency in the response so that we are not reinventing the wheel every time, and the response is consistent every time. It helps bring visibility on the progress of the issue. Whenever anybody opens a work item, they will know what has been done up until now and what's to be done next, and who has carried the steps that were done. And it helps bring speed in delivery by reducing the response time, and this can be done by using automation and automating your steps in the run books and running them just in one button click instead of having to go to different tools, logging in, and carrying those steps. Now let's go to demo for Playbooks. Makarand, can I share my screen?
Sure.
Yes.
In the meantime, we have got a question on the chat. If you can close your window because it's a traffic noise in the background.
Sure, sure, definitely.
Thank you very much.
1 second. Okay, I hope things are
Yes,
better
yes,
now.
it's
I will
definitely
start
better.
sharing.
Thanks.
Okay, sorry about that. So let's agent in JSM. I have a regular day. I come to the tickets assigned to me. I see there's an open ticket and it's an incident. I see that the billing system is down, and as an agent, I start looking at the description, start seeing what's happening on this issue, and I stumble upon Playbooks. Now it says step by step guidance and automated rules to resolve. And since since the issue is billing system down, I can see a playbook here which says critical VM down resolution playbook. Let's start by looking at this playbook. The first step says get data from New Relic, run the step, and it says run this automation step to get to run a query on New Relic to get logs, and that's the first step to be done. Incident. Let's click on show output. The rule is currently is in progress, and now we can see the status is success. It has provided us with the key metrics from running this rule on New Relic. It gave me the host or VM ID which is running, and the reporting or the system up status is false, which means the system is down. And clearly, this is because which is very high, which is like soaring 95%. Now let's go to step number 2, which says run this step to start a runbook in Azure. It will restart the instance that is provided. I'm going to copy this ID from here so that I can pass it on to the runbook in Azure. So once I do that, let this step run. In the meanwhile, if you look at the first step, it provides a clear execution who has run the step by at what time and what was the status of it. Now let's look at the output for this step. This step has also run successfully, and it has given me the VM ID. It is now up, which is and the job execution has been successful. It also says that CPU usage is 30%, which means after restarting, it has done the runbook, done its job, and now the VM is up and running. Once this is successful, I go to next. Says if successful, inform stakeholders, which is the right step to do in during an incident. So I'm going to run this step to inform stakeholders about the status, and what it should do is Slack. Let's check the output, and it's still in progress. The output says Slack message is sent. Let's go. So when the incident was created, some automations ran in the background, and they uh, opened up this Slack channel, and you can see the date from incident sent from Playbooks, and it has been resolved by running a runbook on Azure by to restart a VM. So it has successfully sent this message. I'm going to go and close this incident by running this automation rule. So let's wait for this rule to execute. And as you can see, minutes agents are able to, this ticket has been transitioned to completed, and within minutes agent was able to resolve this incident using the automation, using automation and playbooks, which was the step-by-step guidance to run these automation steps. Now, if you look, there's another tab called execution logs, which gives me a summary of what was run, who ran that step, when, what was the timestamp, and what was the status. It also shows the output of what happened after running that step. Let's say we were in a scenario this rule failed, or maybe it restarted the instance, but the CPU usage was still pretty high, and it's not resolved the incident. What typically would happen is we would escalate this issue, and whenever say an L2 agent comes, they can come to execution log and they can see what has happened up until now, and they can carry forward from there. So in this way, Playbooks brings auditability, speed, consistency, and it also helps bring clarity on what to do. Now let's look at how to create these playbooks. So the playbooks are created by project admins, which can be done by going to settings. When you go to project settings, you will see a new tab here, which is playbooks. I click on create playbook, and as we previously saw, like ops use case of playbooks, let's create a playbook, say another use case where let's say a service desk use case where I want to create a playbook to provision a software. So the first step naturally will be, whenever a ticket has raised, I want the agents to check the role for user and entitlement. I want them to check if the user is this particular software access that they are asking. I will create a user pre-created automation rule here, where created rule to get user details from Okta. This will fetch me the role of the user, the name, the employee ID, all of the details that are required to take the step. And as an instruction for agents, I can, let's say I have playbook here. As an instruction, I want to say that you should details from here, and you should rate if the requester is eligible for the software by referring to the guidelines, and we can have, say, a Confluence page link here which has guidelines on which role should get which software. You can add a note for agents to ask if any specific role is required for this user. Then the next step could be grant access, where I can have an auto rule to grant access by adding the user to that specific group in enter ID. And I can write instructions saying run this step to add users to a group in enter ID. Let's say this is also done. After this, after they have granted the access, I want them to communicate this to the users. So a Slack message here, which I want them to send, or probably in comments, and the step is to notify the requester, and to be an instruction, and I can send the message that I want them to use every time, so that there's consistency in the stream. And this will show up in the issue. They can copy this and send it on Slack or probably in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead adding all these steps. After I'm done creating the playbook, I'm going to go ahead and publish this playbook. Publishing the playbook will require give it a name. So let's say it is a software license provision playbook. And after I have named it, another setting that I have to do. Now I don't want this playbook to be visible to each and every agent that comes in JSM. So this is a visibility configuration that needs to be done to make sure that the playbook is available to the right agents in the right scenario. Since this is a software provision playbook, I would only want it to be available to service request. And let's say there's a work type which I want this to be available for, say require request a new hardware or maybe request a new software in this case. And then let's say ask this playbook to be available only this is in progress. Otherwise, when it is in triaging stage or open stage, it will not be required. So I am going to say the status is in progress. That's the only point when I want to see this playbook. I could additionally also write a JQL query describing the ticket. So and then playbook will be available on the issue whenever the JQL matches the ticket. Say I publish this playbook and I go to a service request, I will be able to see this playbook. Let's say I create a new, I should be able, I should be able to see this particular playbook section. In the meanwhile, uh, there's action logs for playbooks, which helps admins see all executions that were done for all the playbooks, so that in case there's any problem, uh, resolve it from here. Let's say somebody came up to me saying there's some errors, I will be able to see the output. I can also see the audit log of what happened to the automation rule and why it failed from here. So the execution logs is like audit log of every playbook that was run in the environment. uh, let's look at this JQL feature once. So when I say that the playbooks are JQL powered, this can be used to define the visible playbooks on an issue. Let's say there's an incident. Let's say I create a playbook which is only for Sev 0 cases. Major, I could have it for, say, system incident, and I don't want them to be seen by all the agents. So what I can do is I can write a JQL query, or I could select uh, the major, and I say whenever a major incident, whenever this is a mint, that's the only I want this playbook to show up. And I can write a JQL query to define that, and then this playbook will only show up for all the major incidents and agents who are allowed to open incident. There's also by which you can restrict a particular playbook to certain logged in users only. Apart from that, if you go to automation, there's a component that needs to be added, or that can be added for an automation rule. I will create a rule from scratch. Now every rule that is used in playbooks has to have a manual. That's when you can trigger it after you click on run. So I can use a manually triggered rule. If I want inputs, I can prompt user inputs, and I can take inputs in these forms. I could like have a drop down selected whether they want multi-factor authentication or not, and then run the rule accordingly, according to the case which is. Then there's another playbooks component here. If you type playbooks, you'll see log output to playbook. This is used to show the output that you saw on the issue view. I can configure a message that I want my agents to see, and there can also be key values like JSON which can be sent, and this that I want my agents to see, I can configure over here. And this also takes in smart values. So if you are using, say, web request or any actions like Azure or any other action, you can use the response body and take the values that have been received from the response of this web request and send it, so that agents can take the decisions going forward while running this play. I think that is it for the demo. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. 1 second.
Samruddhi, I think we can do the quiz now. Kate,
Yeah,
if that's fine.
okay, sure.
Okay, so
Let me.
go with quiz, and after that we have got some questions on the chat. So we will move to the Q&A section.
Yeah. Do you want me to share my screen, Makarand?
Yeah, that would be good. Great.
Okay. One second. Are you able to see the question? You'll have to slido.com and enter this to join the quiz. Let's wait for the participants to join the quiz. Or you could also scan this QR code to go to directly. I am not able to see the participants yet. Can we check on the chat once if people have started joining
I
and it's
see
not reflecting?
that I need to log in with SSO, and also I see the same on the chat that we have got all the same information that we have to log in. So it's logged for Atlassian.
Uh,
Okay.
Let me quickly check. Sorry.
In the mean, probably we can take a look at the questions. Are there any automation steps to check if certain service Google or Microsoft or Sales is down? So in this case, Mayur, I think you will have to use the send web request action, as there is no out of the box action to check if the service is down directly. But you can configure a webhook and get in the playbook. From Bernard, can I share playbooks over projects, or do I have to copy? Do I have to copy slash create new playbooks too in every project? So currently, playbooks are restricted to a single project. Although you can use, say, global automation rules in your playbooks, and as we grow further in playbooks, we'll definitely someday have a capability to share playbooks within projects, or at least export. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Automation for playbooks are manual trigger automation. Yes, that's correct, Naveen. We'll have manually triggered rules only in automation in playbooks, as it will only get triggered after you click on run, as opposed to other triggers when certain events happen, the automation gets triggered. Are there any questions that I'm losing? Mhm.
I guess that we don't have more questions
Mhm.
for now. Also, Makarand sent a link to Slido, and it works.
Okay.
I see that I am able to log in, and more people are joining.
Okay, we have 9 of us here. Let's wait for 10-15 more seconds. Okay, I can see Lacey, James. Hi, hi, Stephen. I can see Stephen twice. Hi Mayur. Hi Kerry. Hi Benjamin. Becky. There's Sean. Should we get started? Or let's wait for a few
Let's start
more.
at 25.
Okay.
Come on,
Yeah.
folks. 23, 24. One more.
One more to go. Okay. Okay, we are at 25. I think let's get started.
Yes.
So here's our first question. Global automation for alerts can be created in which scope? Global only, operations and global, project and global. The time is up. We have 59% of them saying operations and global and 41 saying project and global. The correct answer is operations and global. Let's go
Yeah,
to
so alerts are essentially properties of operations team, right? So automation works based on the events from where you can get it. Since project don't have any alert events, the project automations will not fire for alert events, right? So if you're trying to create an alert automation, go to your operations menu or in the global automation menu, because that is those would be the scopes where you will get those events.
let's go to question number 2. Who can create playbooks in JSM? Come on, this should be easy. So we have only 10 seconds for this. Project admins, agents, both, or Jira admins. Okay. We have 75% say project admins, but people are also saying agents. The correct answer is project admins can only create playbooks, agents can use them and to resolve incidents and issues, tickets, requests. Which of the following could be playbook use case? So we can see multiple use cases here, and we need to find out which all can be unlocked using playbooks. Okay. So yeah, that's correct. 95% you are saying that it can be done for all of the above, which is true. You can create playbooks for any of the automations and convert your static documentation into automated playbooks and resolve work items faster. Let's go, I think. Oh, we have the winner. Lacey is the winner, and Bernard and Kate also are like pretty close. So, yeah. With that, we open the floor for questions related to automation playbooks and anything else.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A or on chat. We have got still a few minutes to finish, so if you have any questions, let us know.
I remember we had one question from the community post which said, what is the difference between subtasks and playbooks? So, subtasks can be used when you want to like divide a complex problem into multiple parts, multiple sub-tickets, sub-work items, which can be resolved or worked upon by various teams and various assignees. And as opposed to that is like a stepwise guide which can be used to solve these repeatable processes, and there can be consistency can be brought in these, and along in a subtask, it could be any way you could resolve it. For playbooks, the steps could also be automated as opposed to just working manually on them.
Okay, so I see that we don't have more questions. So I think that we can go to the next slide. Oh, no, we have got one more question from Benjamin. Currently, it's only possible to use manual trigger automations in playbooks. If we make multiple playbooks with multiple automations, there will be a clutter in the actions menu in the ticket. Is there a way to filter those?
To filter those, but we've got that feedback, working on this, and hopefully we'll get this through soon and make sure that this filter not the actions menu.
And also we have got one more question. Does the playbook can access only project related or global automation rules, or also automation rule from another project?
Yeah, so playbooks can have any rules. They can have global rules. They can have project level
Oh,
or
I see that we lost
rules.
Connection.
Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me, Kate?
Yes, I can hear you. So if you can answer on this question
Sure.
from Bernhard.
Does the playbook can access only project related or global automation rules? Yeah, so essentially in the project, since you can have access to all, so any automation rule which is created within the project is applicable in that project, and any automation rule which is created globally is also applicable in the project, right? So hence, when you create a playbook, you can actually access both global as well as the project related automation rules inside the playbook, right? This is similar to an actions menu, right? So in actions menu, you have access to both of these rules. You can access both of these type of rules within playbooks as well. Only the case where you are calling out from another projects, that's not possible, because of course they are restricted for those specific projects. So you cannot access automation rules from another project into your own project, right? I hope that answers.
Okay, thank you. I guess that we don't have any more new questions. So I think that we can slowly finish our session for today. Here you can find 2 QR codes for our next sessions. So the first session is my session about Rovo Studio for Jira Service Management and Jira Product Discovery. It's for next week. And also next week on Friday, we will meet again with Makarand and Samruddhi, and we'll talk about playbooks. We will continue this topic. As I said at the beginning, this session will be published on my YouTube channel. I will send you email with a link to recording, but also links to any additional materials which can be useful for you. Also, as the next session will be about playbooks, I will really recommend you to try playbooks to create your first playbook, and also prepare some questions for next session. We will have got time for answers. Also, I would like to recommend you to follow the link which I sent you. It's a link to the community article in which we have listed all webinars which are in this series, also some recordings. So I think that it can be a useful material for you. And I see one more notification from Q&A. Okay, it was answer from Makarand. Yes, so we have got also link to to the suggestion. So once again, I would like to say thank you, our today's speakers, also our participants. I hope that this session was insightful for you and you know something more and new about playbooks, about automation, and we'll continue this topic next week. So tomorrow I will send you email with all materials, link to recording, and I hope that we'll meet next week. So thank you very much and see you on Friday.
Thanks, Kate. Can I take a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Kate, as well. I think for all this process and helping us conduct this session fruitfully. And thank you, everyone, for joining this session. In the upcoming session that Kate has mentioned, we'll definitely talking about more automation controls. We'll be adding few more controls down in the few months. So this will be definitely exciting and on top of what you've seen today, right? So please do sign up for it, and we'll be happy to share more updates on playbooks. We are launching some new templates on playbooks out of the box, so it will help you configure some of these directly out of the box, and of course streamline your processes. And also please follow our Jack and our public roadmap, so that any suggestion that you might have, feel free to give it to our product directly. Please upvote any of our feature suggestions, and so that that can influence. Feel free to comment with your use case. Addition of any use cases help us understand what you're trying to solve really, so that we can actually solve those solutions properly in the product. And yeah, thank you for your time today. It was definitely pleasure presenting to you all the features about automation.
Great. So thank you very much. You can find links on the chat, and they will be also included in the email if you miss it now. So thank you very much, and I hope that we will see next Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
you.